Hello everyone, welcome back to Royalty Soaps. Today we are making the first soap in the soap theme you guys helped us pick on Instagram. I showed everyone two different photos. We had this sort of moody, sort of sailor inspired vibe, and then we had this sort of national parks, camping core vibe. You guys picked camping, and therefore we're doing our first video for the Into the Wilderness collection. This soap is called Campfire Latte. I will talk a lot about the fragrance notes later in the video. I hope you guys enjoy, and without further ado, let's make some soap. I have a ton of goodies in my oil blend today. I have some kaolin clay. I have some organic fresh brewed coffee. I have a little bit of sodium lactate. And I also have just a little bit of brown oxide. This is just supposed to help with our discoloration over time. So let's blend our oils. There's no lye water solution in here yet. This looks beautiful. So let's go ahead and add in our lye water solution. I am going to be making multiple layers with this soap. We're going for sort of an authentic latte look with a little bit of milk foam on the top. So the first layer I'm going to have to pour out will be my top layer, which will be our lightest layer. Blend this up until just past emulsion. Beautiful. Now we can separate off our layers. Our top layer is not going to be fragranced because the fragrance that I add to this soap is going to discolor, and I want it to stay this nice creamy taupe color, and it won't be able to do that if it's fragrance. So let's pour that layer off. It's actually not going to even be that much. Ooh, a little much there. You got to put some back. Okay, that's better. Gonna put that off to the side. I'm not gonna touch it. All right, now for our next layer. Wow. Okay, clearly I flip-flopped which layer is supposed to be in which bucket. Okay, that's supposed to... That is so crazy. Okay, that's supposed to be the bottom layer. I literally shouldn't even wiggle the table because if I do, it might get messed up. I tell you what, let's dump that one back into our big container where it clearly belongs. For our bottom layer, I'm going to add in some coconut husk powder, and quite a bit of it. This will be ever so slightly exfoliating, but barely exfoliating. And a little bit of dark brown oxide. Gotta get all that color in there because this is a really big layer. All right, just gonna pour in the custom fragrance. So what does this smell like? First of all, for this particular collection, I based the collection around the fragrances instead of picking a theme and then picking out fragrances to go with it. I have really been trying to boost my knowledge base on fragrance composition, the science behind fragrance. I've been educating myself about base notes, top notes, and then I've been testing a lot of things in cold processed soap versus other cold emulsions and applications. So all that to say, I've been very thoughtful with the past two collections with the fragrance blends. And I've tried to use all of the education that I have spent time and money accumulating over the past 6 months to do so. So for this particular fragrance, I want it to smell like coffee, but I don't want it to smell like a bakery good, and I don't want it to ick you out when you smell it and go, wish that had been in a candle. Don't really want to use that on my skin. So we do have the fresh brewed coffee scent, but it also has a mix of praline and a little bit of hazelnut, which brings it into a very warm category. It is gourmand, but it doesn't smell like it should have been a candle. It pairs exceptionally well, I know this is a very specific thing, with the warmth of a shower shower or water, because whenever you're standing in the shower, I find that my fragrances change slightly. You add in that like warm water smell with your fragrance, and it has a slightly different effect than it would if you were just smelling it straight out of the container. So whenever I'm smelling the fragrance blends that I make, one of the things I do is run hot water and then smell that scent in the heat to make sure that it translates well. So again, we have that sort of fresh brewed coffee. We've got the praline and toasted nut smell. And then there's a small burnt sugar element in there, which gives it even more depth, really kind of anchors things so that you're not in this artificial vanilla category. The point of the fragrance, yes, was to have a gourmand category for the month, but it was also to get a very comforting smell. I really was focused on comfort. I know a lot of people who don't even drink coffee still like the smell of a coffee house. Like it does something to us. We just associate it with being comforting. Okay, I added a little bit of texture. I'm going to add in just a little bit more bounce on top. Awesome. Let's blend up that second layer to add a little bit of foam. Okay, I'm going to blend this up a little. Wow, that smells so good. I can't even. I have made a ton of coffee soaps over the years. I mean, probably, this is not an exaggeration, I've probably made 15 to 20 plus with different fragrance combinations. And it's true, I can't remember every single one I've ever done, but as I continued to, make one coffee soap and then do a different fragrance blend, and if I like that more, that's the one I would keep. I kept adding more and more to the coffee fragrance and weeding out the ones that just didn't have longevity, or the scent notes were too fickle in cold process, etc., etc. So I'm pretty confident when I say this is the best coffee smell I've ever made. You cannot get this from anybody else. And for those of y'all who like coffee, I just think you're really going to like it. I mean, forgive me the confidence. I just think you will. Okay, everything has been really, really incorporated. So let's pour our second layer on there. You know what? I can tell it is really set up, but potentially I could still make a mess with this if I'm not careful. So let's pour very gently on this side. Then as I get a little bit of coverage here we go. Let's do a little down this side, same thing. Very gentle so as not to bust up that layer too much. Gonna scrape all of this out. And for this layer, it's fairly important for me to get it pretty flat. So I am gonna tap it down, sort of give it a shimmy so that all of this levels out and there aren't any high spots. This does require some strength. One of the first things that people tell me whenever they start making batches and, 50 or 60, 25-pound batches here, is that they're always surprised at how heavy it is. I'm like, yeah, it's dense. You got to think about that. Okay, now we have my final layer here. All right, that looks super good. Just like, foam or a little bit of coffee mixed with cream. It is a latte after all. I name these things on purpose. Like, I can't deny sort of that milky, sweet smell in this fragrance. If it was straight coffee grounds, I wouldn't call it latte. We'd call it like cold brew or black coffee or something like that. Okay, the goal here is to get a little bit of this final layer on top of the whole thing, which means I am having to pour a very, very, very small amount, and then I'm gonna have to level it out with my spatula because there's just no way. I almost never work in layers this thin, but sometimes you just gotta do it for the aesthetic. This is still pretty runny on top, so I have lots of workable time. Gonna be able to smooth everything out just right. Yeah, there is also, I should mention, a hint of maple in that as well. Very inspired by the Vermont maple farms, and I feel like the maple donut and the general maple syrup fragrance is really nice in the fall, but again, I don't want you to think of it too much as being like, oh, so it smells like maple donuts. No, it's not that sweet. Like, think about the maple scent without all the, sugar. I know it's hard to do. Maybe, I don't know. Now, one of the things that I'm going to do is put a little bit of a drizzle on top that I want to look like a caramel sauce, a maple sauce, etc. And for that, I'm going to use Copper Mica from Makesy. This is a beautiful copper shimmer. I am an affiliate with Makesy. I do have a collaboration with them, which you guys have loved. You should absolutely read the reviews. The fragrances are incredible. Yeah, look at that shimmer. Crazy. Oh my gosh. I walked out of the room and then walked back in and the whole room smells so good. All right, so let's put some drizzle just like this. And then I'm gonna pull some lines through it if I have enough time. In the future batches, I really will, but I have really taken my time on this batch. The bars are going to be cut this way, so it's more important that I put in all of my lines here so that you can see them on every single cut bar. And then taking something very tiny, I'm gonna start small and then see if I can go larger. I'm just going to drag a line. It looks like latte art, which is what I wanted, and I'm just holding it very, very lightly to the top. Otherwise, it's gonna get all smeary and you're not gonna be able to see it, and the color's gonna move and we're gonna mess up that layer. I will tell you something though. Ever since 2020, I have wanted the Breville Barista Pro. And every year at Black Friday, I say, no, I cannot justify it. But here's what Girl Math says. Girl Math says that $800 machine split over like 5 years is like $160 a year, or what is that, like $30 a month or something? And I'm like, if I never go to Starbucks ever, which I don't, isn't there some sort of justification? Like, what if I actually never get coffee out ever again? Can I justify it then? Okay, now I have to make all the individual marks for like 66 bars so that I can put one coffee bean on the top of every bar. This is how much I love you guys, because I care about your kitchen and bathroom aesthetics, and I know that that coffee bean is gonna make a difference. Okay, voila, made all the marks. Anyway, did some math because I knew I wasn't doing it right in my head. Turns out I meant $13 a month. Now, $13 a month is equivalent to like 3 Starbucks drinks, which means I could go one time to Starbucks for 3 different weeks in the month. Now, the reality of it is I do not go to Starbucks that often. I go to Starbucks or Dunkin' or whatever like once a quarter. So I feel like with all the coffee I drink at home, I have saved enough money this year to buy that barista machine. Also, let me just throw this out here so that y'all can see if this is a justified purchase with me. I feel like if I can convince enough people to hype me up in the comments, I'll actually do it, because like the guilt of wanting that machine has just wrecked me for years. Here's the deal. I drink coffee and Caleb drinks coffee. Now, not everybody has a spouse that drinks coffee with them, but I do. And we drink it every morning together while we do our morning business meeting, okay? So that's like every single day. At least I should probably take off at least 1 day a week, okay? That way the caffeine isn't like enormous, but I digress. Also, I have siblings and parents that live really close by. And of those siblings, I have, let me think. I think 3 of them drink coffee, and both of my parents drink coffee, right? And we see each other at least once a week. So that's a lot of coffee. Also, I can make all the syrups and stuff at home. So I'm just saying, I feel like there's a lot of people that I know that I could make a cracking good cup of coffee for and also enjoy it every day. Part of the reason I want the Breville is for ease of use, because I can feel the coffee snobs that watch this going, now listen, sister, that thing is overpriced and you could get a better if you would just get these 3 separate machines that would only cost $500 instead of $800. Yes, I don't want 3 different machines on my counter all the time. I like that it's all one unit. I like the way it looks, and I think that it's simple enough for me to understand. I don't want to have to go to coffee school to learn how to make it, okay? Besides that, and dreaming about the Linux Spice Village, which has been a hyperfixation since I was a sophomore in high school. I can't count how far back that was, but before all the little cottagey influencers found Linux, my mom had one of those from the 90s, like just one of the houses, and golly dog, I have wanted that forever, okay? That's another thing that I'm just putting off until I finally break down and get it, but I just can't do it right now. Besides those two things, I've been trying to figure out how to do a overnight blowout because I'm sick of looking like a scraggly person. My hair has been in a bun, I swear, for 10 years. And I just want to do something with my hair. I'm also trying to fix it because I swam an excessive amount this summer. I was trying to get as much vitamin D as possible, and I just ruined it, and I didn't take care of it. So I'm doing the Abby Young hair method. If you haven't heard of Miss Young, she does have a YouTube channel. She also has a TikTok, and her method has gone viral, and I'm literally starting it today, and I'm gonna document my progress. My daughter Lily has naturally blonde hair, and I bleached my hair last year, and we're gonna see if it works. I'm also gonna be using the Royalty Soaps shampoo and conditioner bar because both the shampoo and the conditioner bar have the types of ingredients she specifies, and I do have a shampoo bar that is a clarifying shampoo bar. So I am gonna use my own products, but I'm gonna be supplementing with the ones that she recommends, and we'll see if it fixes my hair. I'm trying to grow my hair out. My sisters keep telling me, Katie, grow your hair out. And I say, okay. And then after it gets right past my shoulders, I chop it into a bob. This is the cycle. It's been happening for years. And it's past my shoulder. It's past my collarbone now. And I'm starting to get the itch to chop it all off. I really want to do like the 90s Winona Ryder hair. But I have really thin hair. I wanted to do like the Princess Diana hair. But again, cries in super thin, mousy, non-voluminous hair, and I just know I'll look like berries and cream if I do it. I think I'm just gonna have to suck it up, and I'm just gonna have to have long hair. Caleb thinks it looks nice all the ways, and honestly, I don't remember asking his opinion for a very long time. He's never said he thought anything looked ugly, so I just assume, I guess, that I look good. That is what I have been, just kind of mulling around in my brain recently. I also want to go to New England, and there's so many of you guys who have said, Katie, come see us in Maine. Katie, come see us in Vermont. Katie, we have a soap shop up here. And I just want to see everybody up there, but also trying to find time off between now and Christmas is like a laughable thing. I've been working all year on our Christmas collection when it comes to which fragrances we're going to do, which things we're trying to launch in time. I've been getting samples from all over Christendom when it comes to package upgrades, which is something we're working on. We are working on some programs for Royalty Soaps. And let me tell you, when you are a small business, and I don't mean a small business with 50 employees and corporate backing, I mean a small business, your mom, your dad, your husband, and you, and a sibling or two helping with production. This kind of stuff takes forever. Everyone has 9 different hats, and as time goes on, I may hire some more. I had a bigger team at one point during COVID, and I will level with y'all. I have capped Royalty Soap's potential, maybe even artificially, because Royalty Soaps got big enough to the point where I got gray hair and my hair started falling out of my head, and we were gonna have to start hiring like corporate team members to manage us because we had the number of employees where you like have to have more and more like HR and things like that. And that was a nightmare. I was like, I don't want to live this way. I don't want to become this big multi-million-dollar corporate company and then sell to some, I just, no. I wanted to stay artisan. I really do. I love what I do. I love all of my customers that come back routinely. I'll expand a little bit from here, but that is not a priority to me. And honestly, it never really has been. I mean, look at what I'm doing right now, friends. Do you think I I could do this if we were selling 25,000 bars a month? No, I could not. Nobody could. Like, that's why when you go to grocery stores and there's cold processed soap there, they all kind of look the same because they have to make them in batches of 600 and there's 2 to 3 colors and that's it. Because you have to when you're doing production manufacturing. And it's just not for me. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just, I realized as we had the potential to expand into that that's not what I wanted. I just didn't want to be a part of that system. I want to be hands-on. And again, I recognize customers by name. I send people things in the mail for fun. Like, I love the community aspect of this. I have everything I need in life. My family's taken care of. I don't want jets and I don't want name brand whatever, and that's just not important to me. So that means I get to do stuff like this. That means that our batches still get to remain artisan in nature, and it's awesome. Like, I just drove home the other day after a huge meeting, and I've had meetings all week about sort of the direction of royalty soaps, and we're solidifying things and blah, blah, blah. And golly dog, I just was so grateful because I'm like, you know what a dream. I didn't know it was going to look like this. And last week was our 14th anniversary. 14 years in business. I was 17 years old when we started this company. I had no idea the YouTube impact. I had no idea how many bars that I was going to sell. You know, all that's so unknown when you take a leap. And now in my 30s, I'm like, man, I enjoy what I do. This doesn't feel like a job most days. It's just like an enjoyable activity. I love making emails. I love making pretty photos, and I love smells. And it's just, I know that there's an old saying that's like, if you're doing something you love, you never work a day in your life. There's definitely some truth to that. That's not to say there haven't been blood, sweat, and tears, because there have. But on the whole, I'm just happy to be here, you guys. And I hope you're having a good day, because as I've been over here just rambling, I'm like, I wonder what you guys are doing today. I wonder how your day has been. If it hasn't been that great, I hope that this video has helped you feel just that much better, and be sure you do something for yourself today. Sometimes self-care looks like discipline. I know, it's hard to hear. Sometimes it doesn't look like a sweet treat. Sometimes it looks like discipline. Sometimes it looks like getting up out of bed even though you'd like to rot a little bit more. So however this video is finding you, if you're driving in the car on your way home from work, or you're cleaning your kitchen, or you sat down with your cute kids, or you just needed a little pick-me-up, this is me giving you a virtual hug. It's me telling you, hey, we're officially in fall, and there are beautiful things in fall all across the world, and it looks a little bit different for everybody. Here in the States, cooler temperatures, right? Cooler temperatures, hooray. I'm gonna go pick out some pumpkins with my sister, and we're going to make some wild rice pumpkins. I'll share a picture on my personal Instagram so that you guys can see it. I've also been pretty active over on my personal TikTok. I don't know what got into me. I was just like, hold on, I wanna make some short form, so you can follow me over there too if you're interested. And now, after, how long was that? Let's see, 15 minutes. 15 minutes. All we did was place embeds. We're officially done. So I'm going to spritz the top of this very gently. You can see that mica has already soaked into the top of this soap, so it's not gonna move when I spritz it. We're gonna put this to bed for 18 to 24 hours. Then we'll come back. We'll take a peek at the inside. Caleb will get to smell this scent in cold process. I'll let him give you guys a mini review. Hope you're doing well. Let's put this to bed, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for the cutting portion. All right, coffee babes, let's see how my placement on these bars is. I have my doubts. Also, do have a little bit of glycerin rivers going on here. Okay, so you can see this little crackling here. It's just separation of color. It has absolutely nothing to do with how this soap works. It is a cosmetic issue. And sometimes it happens when soap gets really hot, or you add a little bit too much water in your titanium dioxide, or the fragrance even. There's like a lot of different things that can cause it. All right, Caleb is stepping in to help me because my brain is just not working. This sort of geometry makes me go, wait a second, I don't know which things to cut. I don't know which things need to stay. We're gonna make a wonky cut first, just like so. We've got a big sample for somebody. And this is what it looks like on the inside. I cannot tell you how good this smells. Believe me, I have smelled so many coffee fragrances. Okay, let's see what I can work out for this guy. Yeah, Caleb, smell this and describe that for them, because there is a hint of coffee. It's just not overwhelmingly just this bitter coffee smell.
So it's very light. It's very creamy. I would say. It's almost buttery.
Without being gross. Whenever I hear buttery and think of body products, I'm like, gross!
No, more of like a creamy, kind of nice, smooth dairy way. I like it.
Thank you.
That is super nice.
And I was pretty consistent, I'd say, with how these look, so pleased about that. Tell me your favorite autumnal beverage. If you don't like coffee, no problem. There's teas that I feel are very autumnal. I always feel like Earl Grey is like a very, very autumnal tea. Chai tea, very autumnal. Man, I love a chai. Just saying that just reminds me of chai. I did end up making some adjustments to this design because, quite frankly, the soap did not discolor as much as I thought it was going to. You can see the new design, the colors are a lot more distinct, and it looks like we actually have some real milk foam on top. The fragrance has mellowed out so beautifully. It smells like, it's just the best. This like warm vanilla whip with a little bit of coffee. It's so good. This is the first of 5 soaps in our collection. If you'd like to see more soapy content, you can follow us on TikTok and Instagram. Our products can be found at royaltysoaps.com and also in our TikTok shop, where TikTok does tons of sales and free shipping specials all the time over there. Be sure you do something fun for yourself today, whether that is trying a new coffee at your local coffee shop or maybe whipping one up at home with your fancy coffee machine, maybe, hopefully. You guys know I don't really care what you do. Just do something for you, and I'll see y'all in the next video. So until then, bye for now.